My name is Carl,
My name's Oscar,
and this is Who Would Watch This?
where we review bad films and decide who would watch this.
Well, apart from us. Alright, and welcome to our second episode, The Cat in the Hat.
Very exciting.
Yes, it is currently sitting at number 100 on IMDb's bottom 100 list.
Which is criminal, I think.
Yeah, we'll get into our little history on this.
Yep.
This is the second episode, isn't it?
It is the second episode.
Because I was worried that if it is released as the first, people are not going to take us seriously because I think we like this movie too much.
That kind of hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because...
Because I think you would go in... It's so... Nobody likes this movie. But I mean, like, I grew up with it, so I think...
No, fair enough. And I think if people tuned in
Yeah.
and went, oh, what do these guys have to say about a film? Immediately go, Cat in the Hat, a perfect film. You're going to be a bit shaky.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to be calling it a perfect film. But I mean, controversial opinion.
Controversial opinion.
We already have lots of controversial opinions when it is The Cat in the Hat. Which I'll say my first annoyance with this movie is I kept calling it Cat in a Hat.
That doesn't
Thoughts?
rhyme. I mean, it does rhyme, but it doesn't flow.
Well, it's if you remove the... So it's Cat in a Hat. Cat in a Hat.
Wait, what's it called?
The Cat in the Hat.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. So doesn't that sound too wordy?
Is it not Cat in the Hat?
No, The Cat in the Hat. The Cat in the Hat.
My mind's already blown. You're joking.
No, it's The Cat in the
I'm
Hat.
stopping everything. I need to
The
see.
Cat in the Hat. I think it should be Cat in a Hat. I'm calling out Dr. Seuss. I'm calling out...
Trust me, Dr. Seuss had nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
Was he... When did he die? He died
Yeah.
before this.
Yeah, because his daughter's the one that banned live adaptations after this film.
I'm gonna, freak out if it's actually called The Cat in the Hat. It is.
It is The Cat in the Hat.
Disgusting.
Isn't that too wordy?
That's too wordy.
Who let that happen?
Big flaw. I mean,
Absolutely not a fan of the title.
Not a big fan of that.
Um,
Let's jump into this, Carl.
Okay, well, what's your history with this movie?
I loved this as a kid. I thought it was so funny, but I also thought a lot of people around me loved it. I thought it was like The Grinch, kind of like a Dr. Seuss loved classic, the book and the movie, and I think it must have been about 5 years ago I looked on IMDb, and it's gone up since then. It was at a 2.5.
Well, it had like a time in the sun as a meme for a little
It
bit.
did,
I remember
yeah.
there were a lot of Cat in the Hat memes going around Facebook a few years ago.
Which crushed me, because I thought I thought I was special. I thought, I'm the only one that likes this. But apparently, I think it's hitting harder for a younger generation who grew up on it and now quite like it. But when it first came out, it was...
Because it's very, very childish, but then has very adult humor. So it's
Yeah.
like, I think you need to be a child that likes it for what it is.
Yeah.
Grows up with it thinking it's good, learns that the jokes are quite funny, and then forgives the film.
Exactly. Whereas a kid watching it younger nowadays,
Were you into the Dr. Seuss books?
not madly, but I think we all read them, don't we?
Yeah, I think I did.
I
think I did the Cat in the Hat, but I feel like I was more of like a Mr. Men
I was
kid.
just on Dr. I thought it was Green Eggs and Ham. I thought,
Oh yeah, green eggs and ham. That's the big
where's
one,
that
right?
live adaptation?
How do we do that? How do we turn that into a movie?
What's the story? Just the guy.
It's just that there's green eggs and ham, and Sam doesn't want them.
I like that they were like, no, we can't make that. But
I think
Cat in the Hat definitely gets.
Sam has to be played by somebody really gruff and intense. Like,
Who would you pick?
I don't know, somebody that's difficult to work with.
Because that seems to be Jim Carrey, who would play the Grinch.
Yeah.
Mike Myers, who coming out after this did not want to do this film, hated this.
I don't know, Edward Norton. He doesn't want his green eggs and ham.
They're casting just on differently because one did well, one has done poorly, so maybe 50-50 it could do well.
Yeah, it's weird that there was an audience for this. The movie didn't do as well as its budget, but the Grinch made a lot of money.
Yeah, how much
I think the Grinch did over 400 million.
And I think every Christmas people watch it still to this day.
Yeah, I don't like any Dr. Seuss adaptations. I like Seussical the Musical.
I like that too.
I think that's probably the best Dr. Seuss related content.
I do like Horton Hears a Who, but similar to Cat in the Hat, I like it for the comedy, which is, I think, a lot of people why they hate Horton Hears a Who. I think Dr. Seuss.
Do people hate Horton Hears a Who?
I don't think people love. I think they.
I think it just washes over them like it's a cheap animated film that you forget about.
I remember people were very angry with that anime fighting scene. Do you remember that in it?
No. To me, that's another Jim Carrey, Dr. Seuss.
It's animated. It's like voice work, so not
He's being pretty lazy.
Exactly.
It's getting in there. I only really recognize Horton Hears a Who because that's the main center point for Dr. Seussical the Musical.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've not watched that in so long.
Yeah, that was a great night when my father took me to Seussical the Musical. But yeah, I don't think the Lorax is fine.
I think there's that song in it. I like How Bad Can You Be?
Yeah.
That's alright. But
Let It Grow.
I'm not seeing the new Grinch I remember Tyler Creator did the
Oh yeah, with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
I haven't seen that either, but that's not that well reviewed.
No. It seems a lot of the Lorax just kind of... Because imagine it, is it not...
yeah, Illumination.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Do it. And they're sort of cheaply made, but they make a lot of money. So I'm sure
they look very plasticky.
Yeah.
So
the Minions. Despicable Me is quite good, but after
not
that...
quite good. It's alright. Is it?
The first one's 6, 7 out of 10. Would you not agree? What would you put that?
6 out of 10.
Okay, but then after... Okay, that's the highest thing they've got. Other than that, it's a lot of just 4s. A lot of cheap stuff, I'd say. Would you not agree?
Yeah, I don't think any of the... I like... if we're talking about Illumination, I think Secret Life of Pets is fine. I think 2's not very good. I think Illumination's done one where it's like, that's the stuff.
Do you know they're making a Mario film soon?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that probably suits it.
What, the animation? It does look quite similar.
Yeah, it looks very similar. I don't think it'll be very good.
No, I think the plot will be quite bland.
Because I think Illumination skews very young.
They do.
I don't think
got the market. They got Minions. They've made about, I'd say, $10 trillion off that.
I don't think they do. They haven't got the maturity of Pixar, and then I don't think they have the comedy of DreamWorks.
And their business model is very cheaply made. That makes just a lot of money. They're just kind of shitting those out.
Yeah.
Which works for them. They make so much money.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah.
Well, let's jump into the plot.
Well, hang on. I haven't gotten into my thoughts on Cat. My neurotic childhood of it.
Fine, go nuts.
Alright, I know, loved it as a kid.
I
wasn't aware it was bad. I was talking about this with my brother recently, and my brother and mum were like, didn't realise that was supposed to be a bad movie. Loved it.
I've not heard of anyone in my inner circle that...
Are we of a generation?
I think it's a very generational thing, because I was looking at the ratings. It's mainly 40-year-olds back in 2004.
It's definitely not a film for critics, no. I'll tell you that.
Is there any merit to it? Do you think from a...
If you were a critic watching it, and you were like, oh god, probably not. I mean, costuming's good.
I'll go to the positives, but just for a critic, I imagine... Because you're basing it off the book, which is loved.
If I was 40 years old, watching this for the first time at a critic screening, I could imagine hating this.
Yeah, I can imagine.
If you're 8, and you're me, and this is a copy that somebody's brought back from Bali, and you're watching it every afternoon after school, I think it's right for you.
The filmmaker wanted people to watch it. Yeah. So a ripped DVD.
It's a ripped DVD. It's one of those covers that's sparkly for no reason. It's paper thin. It's got a little slip, and the disc slides out, and you put it in the DVD player.
And you just enjoy yourself.
A generation won't get to enjoy Bali movies, and I think that's upsetting.
No, they just download it. How do kids download? I guess just Netflix is fine now, isn't it?
Yeah.
They'll never get the luxury of watching a poorly recorded movie that you don't know what it is.
No. Some of it's missing.
Yeah. A guy gets up midway through, walks past.
Absolutely. There's slight booing maybe at some stages, like... it was of a time, and you gotta love it.
Yeah.
You gotta love Bali films. Alright, well, do we jump into the plot?
I think
what were we... I don't know, I feel like I hadn't seen... When was the last time we watched this? I hadn't seen it in like 2 years. 2 or 3 years.
2 years about the same for me.
Yeah.
And every time I've watched it, I've gone, I do really like this. I really think it had a lot of merit. I've given it quite a high score. Probably too high, but I'll stand by mine. I've seen it again barely a day ago, and I'm still putting it as a 9 out of 10, which sounds a bit gross coming out of my mouth now that I say it out loud, but hey, it's now burnt into a digital format.
I reckon it's going to come back to haunt you.
I'm going to double down right now and say Cat in the Hat better than every Martin Scorsese film. Oh god, it's one of my probably highest... It's not animated film, but it's...
Like children's films.
Yeah, it probably is. I think it's higher than most Pixar films. Now I'm saying it out loud. When you compare, I might lower it. Let's put it to 8 out of 10, but closer to a 9 than a 7.
Alright, fair. I mean, like, I went in with mild expectations of enjoyment.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I always remember liking this movie and then I watch it and I laugh at bits, but overall enjoy it less than I want to enjoy it.
What are you? The jokes, are they like...
I think the jokes are consistently funny, but I do find, like, bits of the movie, like, annoying or boring.
I think it moves so quickly. Like, again, it's only 75 minutes.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, for a 75-minute movie, probably should be a bit more entertaining.
What? I mean, what's...
Look, I mean, we'll get into it.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll get into it now.
Yeah.
Let's, okay, well, they open the film, there's narration
Yep.
of somebody famous?
No. Oh, the narrator's not famous, but I'm not sure who I looked up. The guy who plays Gordy in Ned's Classified plays a character. I thought he was a narrator, but he's not. So I think the narrator is just an unknown.
Oh, okay. Alright. But yeah, so you got the narration, you've got cute little opening cartoon segment, which is the old Dr. Seuss style drawings and stuff. That's nice. I'll tell you right now, so production design, because it is a director
whose primary thing is production design.
Yeah.
I think it's gorgeous.
I think it's they put the money in. What was the budget for this?
$109 million.
Ugh. $9 million more than Dunkirk.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, God, they built and sunk a boat for that.
I know. I feel like I base my thing around of like, I like zoom in on like alright, so that's the budget of a movie that looks terrific.
Mm.
And if anything spends that same amount of money and doesn't amount to that, then you're awful fucking like, you might as well just burn your money.
I think for the style they're going for, they got it exactly right. I think they're going for... Because it's the same production designer and the director as the Tim Burton Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
And I think that town... And it's been praised for being a gorgeous production design. I think what the style he's going for is kind of like a 50s sort of...
Well, he's going for... It looks like the book.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean... But I feel like I would prefer to live in the Grinch village.
I think that's because it's Christmas. I think that everyone likes the Grinch a lot more because it's Christmas and that's...
I think Christmas does a lot of heavy lifting for the Grinch.
Yeah. I think there's nostalgia. I think if you take Christmas out of the Grinch, it's just Cat in the Hat. And I think people need to wake up and accept that.
Yeah. I would take the Cat in the Hat over the Grinch simply because it's shorter.
How long's the Grinch? It is long.
It is long.
2 hours.
Yeah. Too long.
Too long.
I only watched it for the first time last year.
Really?
Yeah.
What was your opinion? What was your take on it?
Didn't love it. I think I missed the boat on it. One of the ones where like I missed the boat on just it being good.
Yeah, I recently watched Beetlejuice and those things are the same. I don't know if that's the same sort of... I mean, it's not a kid's film, but...
Like, the Grinch like wasn't well received to begin with.
No, I think...
But like I think grew like a following through like rentals.
Yeah.
I think now it's like, there's much better. I think like we grew up with a much higher standard of kids content at least. I think there's much better movies made in like the 80s and 90s, but we grew up on better kids content.
Do you think that? Because I mean, we're reviewing Cat in the Hat now. So now we have to be like, this is the pinnacle of children's entertainment.
Like, the Pixar films are like really good.
They are.
And I think they're probably better than, I don't know.
What was the 80s? The Goonies? Try to watch that the other day.
Yeah, Mac and Me. I mean, we'll get to that. Like, there's some awful like kids content made in the 80s and 90s.
It was. It's just because why not? Because
Yeah.
they don't care. They're dumb.
Yeah.
Put them in front of the TV. They'll watch it. They're not
Yeah.
going to judge it.
And then, like, whoever the person was that came in and was like, what if kids' movies were also for adults? And then,
Shrek was born, and then...
yeah, and then everything just, like, came in on that.
Mm.
B-movie? A classic.
I think that's an adult's film. I think Cat in the Hat, like you said, is for children. I think you have to love it, grow up and go, these jokes are actually very clever
Yeah.
and funny. Clever's a wrong word. They're funny.
Yeah. You know what the town looks like? It looks like the Truman Show. I wonder if they've redone the set of the Truman Show. Looks like the layout of the Truman
It does
Show.
look that. It looks dystopian, and I kind of love that.
Are we able to fact check that?
Yes.
Jocelyn, that's our producer. Yes? Yes?
Manically typing in the back.
Yes, Jocelyn? No. No, not at all. No, I think the bit's going really well.
No, keep it.
I think people like it. I don't know. I think you should leave him.
I'm sweating. We're not going to do that.
What do you mean? What do you mean we're unable to find it out, Jocelyn? Well, you're the producer. Uh-huh.
I'm going to let you down on this hill.
Uh-huh.
You're committed to this.
The bit works. Uh-huh. We should cut that.
We should cut that.
Hand sanitizer's a lot in this. Topical. Alright, I think the look, I think a big strong point of the movie is the fact that I think the comedy's quite good.
Yeah.
And I think there's some terrible story decisions and like script writing.
Mm-hmm.
One of which is the line, "Babysitters sit, baby leavers leave." Thoughts? Because I don't think that's a joke that works, nor do I think it's a line that makes sense.
It doesn't, but then the punchline is that the Cat in the Hat says, "You pay someone to sit on babies? That's disgusting. I do it for free." So that's... I don't know. That works.
I don't think so. I think it's a horrible plot contrivance of the babysitter's leaving at 9:02 a.m. in the morning.
The babysitter?
Yeah.
Of course, she calls in sick.
Yeah.
Because they're just those rowdy kids. I tell you now.
Like, what time did she get there? Is it a Saturday as well, or a Friday?
They established that the day. It's
I
a
feel
work day.
like-
I need to go back into the office.
Yeah.
Was she?
But I
at
feel
the
like,
office?
Bubba, why aren't the kids at school? That's why I'm like, is it a Saturday?
It's a dystopian hell. There's no school.
I would hate to
There's
live...
a talking cat.
I would-
Do you think they have an education system put in place in this place? No.
Would you rather live in the world of Artemis Fowl or the world of Cat in the Hat?
Artemis Fowl, because fairies go out of their way to make sure I can't see any of that. Whereas the Cat in the Hat is so in your face. He's going to be walking through the neighborhood. But he doesn't make an attempt to hide himself when they're in the town, just running through. He's just there.
Yeah.
People are looking at him going, "That's weird," but that's fine.
Later we'll find out that parties theme themselves around him underground.
Yes. Oh my god.
But we'll get there a little bit later. Do you want to give me your best fired?
You're fired!
Oh, we blew it out there.
Blow it out. We'll cut that.
Shall I go from the corner?
Yes.
Oh, alright. I'm over here where Jocelyn sits.
There she is.
Alright.
Watch
Are you
out,
ready?
she slammed that door. You don't want to bang
Wait, no,
back.
Jocelyn, come back. Don't, you can stay away because you're fired. This podcast is only bits now. It's just bits that fall flat. Should we also talk about the fact that her livelihood relies on this party?
Yeah.
What intense stakes that I think the children should be much more aware of.
I mean, they're children. How old are they?
She will get fired.
They're children.
If
don't
they-
know that.
Sorry? Yeah, explain it to them. Be like, hey, you will be out on the street and I'll be without a job.
Poverty doesn't
if
exist
you
in this
guys-
world. It's dystopian hell.
Can you imagine if, can you imagine if like the whole movie they just passed homeless people? Dr. Seuss's homeless people just
Can has
they're little-
ruined their lives. They didn't sign the contract right. They didn't read it.
But yeah, we get introduced to Conrad and Stacy, Lucy,
No, it's not.
Julie.
I don't know her name. I've seen this film a disgusting amount of times.
I think it's
Dakota Fanning.
it is Dakota Fanning.
Do they say her name?
Yeah, they
They
do
must have,
because
yeah.
he's constantly like Condork and the other one. Oh no, are we sexist? Because I can't name the mother either. I can only name Conrad.
But I think they go for the gag of Miss Sayer's name. So it's
Yeah,
even less
so
reason to know
I
his name.
learned it. Even though they only said it once and then missaid it the rest of the time. Well, look, let's talk about the fact that, honestly, I absolutely hate this kid.
The male or the female?
The male, oh, both, but I mean, him specifically.
Why?
I mean, what a dick! He comes in, a perfectly nice tray of cookies,
Yep.
flips it, steals the tray, grabs some bread, chucks it down his pants.
Oh, don't remember, he eats a bit.
Yeah, yum 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 yum.
Throws
Throws
it
it away off screen.
Yeah.
Walks to the top of the stairs, and then has like a superiority complex. Looks down at his sister and is like, "Fuck you!
I'm gonna slide down this
Yeah.
thing.
I'm amazing, so I'm gonna do this." I don't like him.
I
think they've
on
gone.
rewatching this, I think they're worse actors than I remember. And I think kid acting's gone a long way. I think we discussed this last week.
I think it's bad direction
I-
because we know Dakota Fanning is a good actress.
Yeah.
At
And
least
this
as a
actor,
kid.
what's his name?
He's in
name's-
things.
He's on a lot of things. His sister's Abigail.
Breslin.
That's his sister.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is.
God, that must have been so upsetting when she gets nominated for an Oscar for
God.
Little Miss Sunshine.
What
I
year was
think
the
maybe even the same year.
Oh my God.
And he's in Cat in the Hat.
It might have been. Is either 2004 or 7?
It is 2006. So 2 years earlier,
Oh my
Abigail
goodness.
Breslin gets an Oscar nomination, and the brother goes, "Yeah, well, I'm working with Mike Myers, so I'm working with Austin Powers. All right, so who's the better?"
Can we talk about Mike Myers, why he's in this film,
Yeah, go on.
and before this film? Because he was on such a hot streak. He'd done Wayne's World, he'd done 3 of the Austin Powers, and like, say what you want about the Austin Powers, I think
Well,
all 3 made a lot of money. I think the first one's the better one, but they're still quite funny. And then does this, then does Love Guru, and then
and we're gonna get to the Love Guru
I'm
too.
very excited.
Have you seen it?
I've never seen
How
it.
exciting! Continue.
He
He also did Shrek.
He also did Shrek.
Wow, so he was at the height of his game. This is before Shrek 2.
That's
oh,
the thing.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, no. I was reading up. Essentially, he got sued because he didn't want to be in his film, and I think Paramount is the studio that made it.
Wait, so he'd already signed a contract.
They already signed a contract.
Decided to go, no, I don't want to be in it.
Exactly. They were like, no, you're gonna be in it. He countersued. They settled. And he had to be in this film and one other, which was The Love Guru. And then after that,
Oh no. Didn't he write The Love Guru?
did he? I mean, he was.
He did.
He had to be in it.
I mean, oh no. Because he follows The Love Guru up with Inglourious Bastards.
That's a
Which
cameo.
is like-
That's a cameo. He doesn't get that. Quentin Tarantino was like, source of powers. Come over here. Be a English colonel?
I
Like
saw
a scene.
no. I saw what you were doing on The Love Guru, and I loved it. I want you to do it again. I want you to be the I don't know whatever he is in it.
Was he a shaman?
Yeah, the shaman Pictor or something like that. Like I think his name's just like Pickle. I know it's something. The Guru Pitka.
I'm not excited for that.
You should be. He also plays Mike Myers in the movie, so you should be excited. Fourth walls will be broken.
Oh god.
So yeah, he was on a hot streak.
Yeah.
Arrived in this. I can understand not wanting to do it because I feel like putting on the cat suit and
It was-
makeup.
I looked it up. It's 3.5 hours each
no.
day, and I imagine it was probably 2 hours taking it off
Yeah.
each day. So that's
Like 5.5 hours, and you're
Exactly.
sometimes doing like a 12-hour shoot, usually more.
probably longer.
I mean, if you're doing a CW show, those are usually 16-hour days. Like,
Apparently, the suit was so hot. It's made out of human hair as well. Did you know that?
I didn't know that. But I love the idea of the fact that it's like, what are we going to do with all this human hair? Are we going to give it to like the Children's Cancer Council so they can turn it into wigs?
No. Mike Myers is doing Cat in the Hat, the Cat in the Hat, and he needs it.
Mike Myers needs this. Well, how many suits does he need? Many.
Yeah, Mike Myers actually personally took the hair from the cancer children.
Shall we talk about who else they wanted to be the Cat in the Hat?
Oh god, that would have been a 10 out of 10. film.
So one of them was,
Tim Allen,
yes, Buzz Lightyear himself.
the Santa Claus, the Shaggy
When
Dog.
I think we can both say this movie's resting on the souls of the fact that Mike Myers looks like he's genuinely trying, even though he's probably phoning it in.
But I think in every scene
He's quite funny.
He's very funny. I think maybe to some people he's like overacting and a bit disgusting, but I think every look he gives, every little mannerism he gives, I laugh every single time.
He's got great comedic timing in it, and he's working off of nobody giving him anything.
No. I'll give that Alec Baldwin, I think, is
Alec
fun.
Baldwin's having an
He's
amazing
having a
time in
blast.
this.
He saw Mike Myers getting to 5.5 hours of makeup and went, I'm in this little funny fat suit, and I get to be gross.
So yeah,
I think he's really...
What would Tim Allen do in this? Tim Allen would not be able to match the
I don't think
energy
he
of Mike
could. I
Myers.
don't think he could. I think Jim Carrey has a great elastic face. Why does so well as the Grinch? I
Yeah.
think Mike Myers also
I
does.
think you've equally matched them. If you're doing, hey, Jim Carrey's the Grinch, you'd be like, oh, we're just coming out of the 90s. Who could do Cat in the Hat?
I think
Mike Myers
I think
makes
it's
sense.
Perfect casting. I don't think I've seen Tim Allen emote, so I don't know how that would work.
Haven't seen him emote in Better Home Improvement? Home Improvement?
The TV show?
Yeah. He's annoyed by his next door neighbor.
What does he do?
I don't know. Is that the flood? He leans against the fence and he looks miserable, and his family's like, "What did we do?" And the neighbor's like, "Can I borrow some tools?" I think
he's always building things. That's the thing with Tim Allen. He's always using a hammer.
Tim Allen's in every other thing, and I can't name you. He's the Santa Claus.
He didn't do this. He was on board to do this,
but had to do the Santa Claus instead.
The second one.
Oh, okay.
So that's why Mike Myers.
Not even the escape clause, just the second one.
Well, let's agree now. Here, the third one is the best one.
Absolutely not.
Jack Frost is in it.
We're definitely going to go down a really long road of all of the end of year films that this school I went to took me to, because all of them were terrible.
I remember Madagascar 2 vividly.
Because they were. I got Beverly Hills Chihuahua, the Santa Claus 3. The Polar Express, and B Movie. And
you've ended on a high right there. Memes aside, I think this is similar to Cat in the Hat. I think the comedy works.
Okay, but Home Improvement is a light television comedy about family man Tim the Tool Man Taylor.
Well, you smashed that in the park.
The show's humour often revolved around cars, toys, tools, hardware, shops, garages, fix-it-up projects, and similar themes.
So it's just
is that the pitch?
Dad show. That was the dad show.
Pretty much. Hey, what are dads like?
I don't know.
I've got a list.
Beer, tools. Yeah.
That's an episode done.
Like Tim Allen? Yes. Cool. 9 seasons, please.
Yeah. 204 episodes.
You're joking. I remember they brought it back and it got cancelled. Tim Allen was furious because he was like, "There's no right-wing shows."
Oh, yeah. The right wing.
He is. He's very right wing.
Hate that. He's great in Galaxy Quest.
This director did the production design for that.
Isn't
that fun?
Which has great production design. Yeah. It's telling that this director never worked again in direction.
I think believe it or not, he's done 4 episodes of Series of Unfortunate Events.
Which he also did the production design for?
Yes, he's been doing it the whole time. I think it seems as though...
Never got a film again. That's telling.
Yeah, we can do the cast and crew later, because there's some amazing crew on this. Yeah. I don't want to blame him, but I think it seems as though Mike Myers was over-churning him at most decisions. He was like, "No, we're going for more takes. I want to get it right."
Yeah.
And the director didn't have
he's so green. He's so new.
Yeah.
Who would say no to Mike Myers?
Exactly.
Who's probably getting 9 times the amount the director's making.
Oh, exactly. I'm sure, I'm not sure what the lawsuit was, but he must have been making quite a bit, unless of course they sued him and won, in which case he's just legally doing this for free.
The settlement must have been, "I'll do the movie for X amount of money."
Yeah, I think that's where the budget's gone.
Yeah.
Because I think the production design is pretty good. Alec Baldwin, there's not really many...
Alec Baldwin's a lot of fun in this.
He really is.
Why do you think because he starts out as a good father figure, why make him the villain?
Does he start as a good father figure?
Well, he comes in and then it's like...
But he just wants to have...
I know, but it's for a minute. It's like, oh, he is a nice person, and then the switches he's not. But I'm like, why can't they just have a good father figure in their lives?
Because again, this is a hell. There's no good... Cat in the Hat is somehow the best father figure. And he's a goddamn train wreck.
I love how perfect this town is. And Alec Baldwin's going through a recession.
Oh, great. I think they have repo men who look so colourful and nice. They're from Paddington and they're just taking this broken man's TV.
I love how also he's trying to quietly be like, "Hey, let's send Conrad to military school," in front of him. It's big. They're like, "Hey, can I talk to you?" And then move in front of Conrad to be like, "I think we should send him to military school."
In his face.
And he's like, "I can fucking hear you, Alec." Also, when he leaves, he puts on glasses, and we never see him wear those glasses again.
No, I thought that was weird. I was rewatching and going, he looks like Clark Kent, and then it's just never...
Was there a whole other plot of
I looked
him?
at the deleted scenes. There's a lot of weird subplots to this. There's...
Go on.
When they're chasing Nevin, the dog gets out. I know. That's about 40 minutes in. They go chasing for him. In the film, they get him by using a comically large pen, and Cat in the Hat is dressed as a hippie. They get him to sign the contract and then take the dog.
A great gag.
A great gag. I think that works so well. I think a pen that's so... It says like comically sized, 2 hands are required.
I love the prop person having to make that.
Oh god, I think the set design... I mean, hopefully they had fun, but I think the visual gags and the prop gags are some of the strongest I've seen.
Yeah.
Which is insane, but yeah, I think it's right. But yes, in the deleted scene, it's very strange. Honestly, I think they've done this film pretty well. Every deleted scene I watched wasn't funny. I think that's a credit to them.
Is that where like the other 15 minutes of this movie is to get it to 90 minutes?
I think so. There's some very bad jokes in them that go for longer than it should be. Essentially, they chase Alec Baldwin into a TV store where his TV's been repossessed.
Yep.
And
so the TV comes back?
It comes back. Because you can see in the shot that the Reaper Men are in the shot. Anyway, Alec Baldwin follows them into this TV store, and this Indian man is the owner.
Yeah.
And he's like, let's talk about getting you a real big TV. But then the Cat in the Hat has to hide. So he pretends to be a massive rug. I'm not making this up. And then it's about 5 minutes.
This is good comedy.
I'll be honest, it's great comedy, but I felt so bad for Mike Myers because they've obviously buried him in the ground. So his head's showing and the carpet's just like that. Essentially, more people come in, step on him. So the first person is the assistant, who drops a cigarette on his rug flat body and then steps it out with
Wait, is he flat as a rug?
He's flat as a rug.
Wait, so it looks like he's been steamrolled?
Yes.
And then his head's
it's
popped up?
Yes, it's like a bare rug.
Horrifying.
It's really gross, but it must have had to bury him in that makeup. So that's the first one. Then a man on a pogo stick jumps on him, and then finally the gridiron team that this TV store supports runs in and steps on him. And then
what a bad bit.
It's a bad bit. And credit to them, they've cut all the excess that this film needs.
That sounds like an expensive bit.
It was. The set looked gorgeous. They had these thousands of custom-made TVs just in the background that looked really nice. And they cut it. They were just like, nope, it's not great. Let's not do it. I think it's maybe a 120-minute film. They've just cut down the excess. So now it's just a perfect film. And I'll say that again confidently.
No. Especially when one of the gags in this that I'd forgotten about was just that a guy's named Kate.
That's a great gag.
That was it.
That's a great gag. Do you know who that is?
It's, what's his face?
Ron Howard.
Yeah.
I found that insane.
Who's in anything Ron Howard touches.
Exactly.
I think Mrs. Kwan's the Hyder comedy.
See, I was I was trying to think of some flaws, because I was like, I think the story's a bit, childish, but I was trying to think of some flaws of the film. I think, have you heard about the behind the scenes with her?
No. Was it really? Is it racist?
Oh, it's a bit racist.
No.
A bit 2004 racist. Just kind of you're the Asian character. Be a bit more Asian. Tap, tap. She apparently hated Mike Myers on set.
That's fair.
He seemed an absolute diva. But yeah, I've written down, I think she has some of the best gags. The one where she's watching TV. I think it's Taiwanese.
She's watching Taiwanese Parliament with insanely offensive ADR over it of them.
No, that's real. That's really what happens in their parliament.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they've actually had a lot of fights. It's an issue.
But isn't the ADR of
it is. Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah, that's bad.
I think the line though, you get him, Jim. No more big government.
Yeah.
We love that.
It is good. The other thing I really like is well, actually not really like. Another thing that I have is when Conrad stands up and is like, I wish I had a different mum.
Okay.
And she goes, sometimes I wish the same thing, which confuses me, because does she wish she has a different mum?
I never thought about that. I just assumed, I wish I had a...
I don't even know what she's trying to say, but I think you would just, why not just go, yeah, well, I wish I didn't have you. You know?
Much more...
Because now I'm like, did you
also
have an issue with your mother?
She also leaves, goes... Oh,
I know. She goes
a bad mother.
Do I apologize to my son?
Well,
no, I'm late.
No, just come back into work. I'm sure you can go back and go, I'm sorry, we'll chat about this later. Close the door.
Why did she make cupcakes if she was getting a caterer in?
Alright.
Oh, sorry, no, she made cookies. This was an issue I have, is I reckon it should be he destroys the cookies so they make more cookies, but instead they make cupcakes and then everybody enjoys the cupcakes. But I'm just like, it should just be cupcakes at the beginning, he destroys the cupcakes, they make more and they replace the ones that she originally made.
That does make sense.
But instead it's cookies, cupcakes, but then there's a caterer there as well.
It's a poorly designed party, I'll be honest.
Yeah. Oh, it's an absolute mess. I don't get why real estate would even do this.
No. I mean, I get as a plot.
Not only, why would you... What a horrible boss. Sean Hayes, horrible boss.
He also plays the fish. Did you know that?
Yeah, I am well aware, because I also go... They randomly just... They're like... The fish is just there all of a sudden. 15 minutes in, they just go tapping on the glass and it's like, fish, you're introduced.
There you go. Be a character.
Yeah.
Did you see... So he CGI the fish.
Yeah.
I think it looks fine because they're going for a cartoony style.
I think it fits into the style of the
Definitely.
production design. I think that really threw me was how huge their closet was upstairs.
Oh, when the cat's hiding in there?
So, no, like when Conrad pretends to be taken. Don't you remember? And it, like he just walks back out because he's like done a prank on her.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And he like emerges from the darkness of all these boxes and it looks like
endless.
it goes into the abyss. It's huge.
I really not hate, but I love, but the set design, I think, because he's a set designer, the production designer,
Yeah.
the director, I think he spent most of his time just working on the production design, and the acting kind of fell to the wayside.
I don't think the direction's particularly good.
No.
I think there's but I mean, what do we think of like the actual design of the Cat in the Hat? Is he terrifying?
That's the main criticism I've heard, that,
Right.
like, he's hideous, but then I was looking up sort of what their like design. Director, is it Bob? What's his name? Is it? I want to say Bob Welch said that was a hard decision. Like the hardest thing they could find.
Yeah.
I think they all things considered, it's a cat. Like how you make a human-sized cat.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, cats couldn't do it. Cat in the Hat couldn't crack it, so...
I honestly would have preferred cats if they went down.
Yeah, I think so. I think you'd probably have to do something like Wizard of Oz with the lion. I think you need a human face and a cat costume around it.
Yeah,
to pull it off.
I remember in the Wizard of Oz they have a slight nose. I think he's got.
Yeah, like they paint his face and do some freckles and some whiskers.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think the actual costume of the Cat in the Hat is a feat.
I think it's very
like
impressive.
It's very impressive, but also it's equally.
It's just a bit
upsetting.
Uncanny Valley, just kind of a bit gross. And I get why. I kind of personally love it because it's just a bit disgusting, but.
I also like the fact that he comes into the movie, he tries to rhyme, and immediately is like, no, not gonna do it. Which is a great way to be like, let's just cut this rhyming bullshit.
That, which is great, because if Mike Myers was talking in limericks the whole time, it would have been a very long film.
Should we talk about some great gags of the picture frame of the mother that turns into a Playboy, and him getting a hat erection?
I've reading all the IMDb comments, that was the main one everyone goes, this is disgusting. People turn it off at that point. I think that's a great gag.
I think it's absolutely hilarious.
I think it's fantastic.
I mean, very inappropriate for this G-rated movie.
It's not G, is it?
Yeah, it's G.
Jesus.
Because you have to be really observant if you're a kid that gets this, right?
Yeah, exactly. I knew as a kid that, like, folding down a magazine was like, I don't know, there's sex on there. But I didn't know the intricacies of
that being the mum.
Yeah.
Or that he was getting like a cat erection.
Yeah. Someone designed the hat to erect. That was someone's job for like 2 months.
Yeah.
That joke I love, however, again on the deleted scenes, worse.
Oh, it just goes longer.
Oh, it goes disgusting. They're running after the dog, and they go down a slip and slide, and the Cat in the Hat is sitting in a chair, and he's got the fold out of the mum, except this time you can see the mum, and she's in a bikini.
Oh no.
And I felt really
hate
uncomfortable.
that.
Yeah, I really did hate that. That felt... Because in the thing, it's a bit like he's a bit creepy person, but now in this one, they've taken... The movie makers have taken a picture of the actress in a bikini and gone, the Cat in the Hat's going to watch you. Sliding down a slide.
Now, is the fish a main character in the book?
I mean, what do you count as a main character?
Well, I mean, like, I don't know why the fish is in this. What does the fish bring?
He's in most pages of it. He's the voice of reason in the books.
Yeah. But I feel like not worth it. I think I dislike the fish. I think the fish is funny.
I think he has some good lines. I think.
What, you mean like I peed where I
where's my
drink?
jar? That was probably the one joke I was like, not good. I think him counting the rules and then the cat going city morgue. and then being angry at that was a bit... Okay, he's a bad character.
He's a very bad character. Well, should we talk about the musical number?
What?
What are your thoughts on the musical number?
I wrote down it should be nominated for an Oscar. And I'm pretty
Best original song?
Best original song
That's
by...
fair.
not Randy Newman. What's his brother's name?
Norman Newman or something.
Yeah, David Newman.
David
Did the
Newman.
music for this.
Yeah, no, the Newman's churning it out. I mean, it also introduces the first of many costume
I
changes.
think it's pretty... Again, the IMDb
I
rating...
love all of the costumes in this. I also think the lawyer's gag is hilarious.
That lawyer gag is still so funny. Magical time traveling elves. We're just gonna go through all the jokes, but let's just go for his costume. So he's got the plumber one. Is that the first one?
No, he's got the maracas one.
Is that the musical number?
In the musical number, he does the maracas.
Yep.
Yep, and he's got boobs.
Yep.
And then he becomes the mechanic.
He does.
Then he does the infomercial.
He has the infomercial with the sweater and the
and
Gordon
then
Ramsay.
he does the flashback where he's a little girl.
That did you see? There's a horse in the background there. They've hired a horse for a 2-second. I think the best thing out of this, what I love about comedy, is people that commit to a bit.
Yeah.
And the idea that I think it's so funny that someone wrangled a horse for like I don't know, like an hour, and that's just 2 seconds. It's gone.
This is at the point where I also looked up what else the director had done, and in amongst all of his many famous films and his 4 Oscar nominations, he also did Space Chimps. Yep.
He loves his animals.
He does. He loves it. He's the king of animal films. Would have loved it if he did Life of Pi.
God. Now, can I reveal what I found to be probably the most disgusting crew member who's on this?
Go on.
Who do you think did the cinematography? And just the cinematography is pretty average, do you think? I mean, it's nothing special.
Fuck, if you tell me it's Roger Deakins.
It's close to that.
Really?
It's pretty close to that.
Who is it?
His name is Emmanuel Lubezki.
No! What?
The director, the cinematographer, Revenant,
Yeah.
Birdman, Gravity,
my
Children
God.
and Men. He's
Like,
won 3
Three
Oscars.
Oscars, yeah.
He
Hugely.
did this.
Fuck off.
He did.
Fuck off.
I was pretty like...
Oh my God.
Because I was like, it looks...
Jocelyn!
You're never
Get
going
back
to
here,
believe this. No, you slammed the door. I hate that bit. I want to cut it. Anyway.
We've alluded to it too many times.
Yeah.
It has to stay in. That is offensive.
I was pretty... And that I think...
I think the movie's overlit.
That's just not true. The man who's done the best thing.
He's done amazing. He works best when it's just practical lighting, I guess. What did he do after this? What did he do immediately after The Cat in the Hat that he was like...
His next big thing was Children of Men. He did some...
Children of Men's outstanding.
Yeah. He did
all
some
those
small
one takes. How disgusting. I'm so upset now.
How nuts is that? There's also... I've written down... Because that's my thing. I think this film...
I have chills.
Yeah.
After this, he did Unfortunate Events, Children of Men, Burn After Reading, Tree of Life, To the Wonder.
Yeah, Tree of
Then
Life.
Then he won for Gravity, Birdman, The Revenant. Wow. Wow. I am appalled.
And that's my thing.
And he's done so... You know why?
Why?
He's done a lot of the same movies as the production designer.
Really?
Yeah. He's a cinematographer on a handful of the Burton ones. So
hilarious.
He must have been like, hey buddy,
I've got this.
I would have loved it if he was like, I've got an idea. What if we did it all natural lighting and the Cat in the Hat slept inside a horse? We've got the horse already for this flashback sequence.
Should we just kill that?
Should we cut that open?
No. I'm not at my peak yet. I don't want to burn myself out.
I want all of the Cat in the Hat to be one take. I don't know if I'm ready.
That hurt. Yeah, that's my thing. I was going through the cast and crew. I think it's
selfish.
I think it's so selfish how many good people are on this.
I think that director deserves an apology. No, sorry, the cinematographer deserves an apology.
It's a pretty...
From everyone ever.
It's pretty nuts winning 3 Oscars for, like, 3 of the best films of, like, the last 10 years.
It's funny that he's never done anything remotely similar in terms of, like, a flat-out props comedy.
Yeah. Yeah, it must be a favour.
He must have done it and immediately gone, I'm only doing dramas.
I'm
never dealing with that again.
Because it's quite... I didn't think it was anything impressive. I thought it was very complex.
Like I said, it's overlit. It's too bright.
Hey, man,
needs to be slightly dimmer.
Could you imagine after his Oscar award-winning speech, hey man,
I'm calling you out, Emmanuel.
I just saw Cat in the Hat.
Yeah.
What was it, the lighting man?
As he's doing his speech, I want to be off to the side. Manuel! Manuel!
Wearing a cat.
What?
Wearing a hat.
He needs to be. You know how like after they won an Oscar, they're like shoved into like a room of press. As if a press person wasn't like, how does it feel going from the Cat in the Hat to this? And him just going, no more questions, thank you.
They take his Oscar. You did.
I'm sorry. What?
We're taking this back. You can do another 4 of these, and then you can have this back.
Speaking of other things to do with the cast and the crew, Jason Alexander was also cast at one stage for Cat in the Hat.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
The cat.
Really?
Yeah. What do you reckon that was like? A George Costanza Cat in the Hat.
It'd be more Jewish.
He's got a red and white kipper.
Oh, jeez. It's a cat in the hat kipper. Oh, it'd be more plump as well, because he's not that tall, is he, Jason?
No, Jason, he's short.
Yeah.
He's a short guy. I feel like what energy... Is he just yelling at the kids, being like, don't sit there, that's not for adults.
He's a rational cat.
You know why?
Why?
He would have been... Because it's Alec Berg, who did, like... Seinfeld for like 44 episodes and stuff like that. It's the Seinfeld connection.
I think that's the big... here's the problem. I think... Is it just the director that's ruined this? Because there's so many great...
No, because I think I don't think they've written a good script. I think they've written good jokes. I don't know who did the actual plot and story.
Well, I've read...
I think the gags are good.
Well, it's Alec Berg,
yeah,
David Mandel, and Jeff Schaefer.
Are they getting full script writing or just additional dialogue, or what are they getting?
They're
getting full credit?
They're getting full credit. And they've all worked on like Barry, Curb, Veep, Seinfeld. They've all worked together a lot. So I think 3 of them were sitting in a room and wrote the plot.
You're getting very adult writers to do... Like, I don't know why you wouldn't get the exact same writer as The Grinch.
Yeah.
You wouldn't go, they've done a satisfactory job.
Get them back.
Got me a lot of money.
Because...
Get that writer back.
Because Ron Howard, Was
Ron Howard offered to do this?
His studio popped up at the top. What's his studio called? It's called...
no idea. Ron Howard Studio.
It's something like that. It's Arrested Development. They had something to do with this film.
Yeah.
So I'm not really entirely sure. That's my thing. This has a recipe to be...
It should be good. You've got a 3-time Oscar winning cinematographer.
I think that's the issue.
Should look better lit.
Yeah, it's a pretty perfect film. Just the lighting. It's not really up to my...
Huge issues with the lighting. Yeah. Should we get onto the cupcake segment?
You mean, and in my humble opinion, probably the best comedy bit?
It's one of the best comedy bits I've ever seen in a film.
As a child, I remember screaming with laughter.
I screamed with laughter this time.
Yeah. It's that funny, and I think it has no right to be... I mean, I love this film, but it has no right to be in this film. Because it's so funny. Every, second, there's a new gag, and they just build on each other, and it works.
The kids are quite good in this scene, too.
They are.
Actually, they react to stuff well.
They do.
Yeah.
Best piece of comedy on film. I'll say it now. There's so many jokes.
It's genuinely it deserves to be in something better than this.
Yeah, I mean, I could see this being a great SNL skit. And
for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a great... And it's heightened by the fact that there's a life-sized cat in every frame.
100%. I think out of context it's still funny. And then it ends with him coming back to the lawyers I don't know, we might have a case. I think that's so funny. And the lawyers just scamper off.
Now, the things are then brought into the plot. I don't like the look of the things.
No. I looked at their children. I felt bad. Those kids, they're very young. They're about 12.
Oh, I thought they were played by adults.
No, I thought
they were played by acrobats?
No. I think there's 54 people credited for stunts.
Oh, no.
And there's a lot of, in the deleted scenes, a lot more flipping, so I don't know whether or not... But anyway, I think the stand-ins are children.
Yeah.
The guy who plays Homer voices them.
Oh, Dan Castellaneta or something.
Voices them.
I don't like their look.
No.
It's the same look that's in The Grinch. I don't like the look of the Whoville-ians.
I think they look quite gross. I think this is the first... Because when I was a kid, I didn't really mind them, but now they're probably the worst part of this film. If I had to knock off a point, which I have, this is probably the worst part of it.
Yeah, I think the things suck.
Yep.
I hate Chocolate Thunder the most. By that I mean Thing 2 or Thing A.
No, hang on, he doesn't like going by Thing 2. Yeah, it's probably the most grating joke. They are very annoying. They're very ugly, and I do feel bad because those kids went through probably the same amount of makeup as Mike Myers because they look quite.
At least it's not full body. Like they just slip into something.
Exactly.
And their face is done. I love that Conrad goes to the closet and gets 2 comedically large like nets.
Oh yeah, that's a great bit.
Why do they have them?
That's funny. This house seems so clinical, and the fact that they just had that on standby. I think the props in this, again, I'll say it again, I think really work.
It's a great prop comedy.
Yeah.
Also, it's very in your face, like, learning when Conrad's like, why do they do the opposite of what they say? That's so annoying. And then Sally's like, I don't know, does it remind you of anyone?
I thought that was a bit over the head. However, I just watched the 4th Shrek. I think that's even more over the head. Another Mike Myers film. It's a kid's film. I'll give it a bit of a pass, but it is a bit on the nose.
And we get to see Alec Baldwin's home life, which I think is another great gag.
It's a great gag.
So gross, so overly gross,
Oh,
like
God.
picking his belly
that
button.
corset he
I
has,
know.
and he takes it off. It must be a fat suit, right?
Yeah.
It looks great. Again,
Or-
makeup looks great.
I mean, he's a bit chunky. He's a chunky
He's a bit
actor.
chunky, but that was quite a...
Yeah, like it was. Surely, I think it was a mid shot, so maybe it was a different actor
Yeah, so
brought in for that, and then they over exaggerated with
picking
him.
his belly button and the tongue out. He's having fun. I really like that.
It takes like 43 minutes for them to leave the house, and I think that's far too long for this $109 million film.
That's insane. It really, I mean,
Especially because the house is mainly just the kitchen, the living room,
and that opening sort of.
Yeah.
the
Like we don't even see the kids' rooms or the parents' room. Like
no,
it's
we
so
get that
like,
one shot of the bed. I'm not sure, the very high bed the cat's under.
Yeah.
That's about it. But then again, that street I think's where the main money was spent, and we're getting to it, the dance scene. But
Yeah.
we'll get to
But
that.
it's like the movie feels so empty. Like there's just it doesn't look like there's a lot of people around.
I-
There's not a lot of
actually,
like other characters.
I'll say this, I was quite impressed of the shots. It's a starting shot that goes down the street. There's quite
Yeah.
a lot of people, but you are right, it doesn't look very sterile. I think they're going for that.
Well, it's like why like it feels like a town in the Grinch,
Mm.
and it doesn't feel like a town in the Cat in the Hat. And I'm like, what makes one feel more like a town?
The Grinch is quite closed. It's Christmas as well. I remember being quite tight. I remember a lot of people moving around, and it felt not lived in, but because this one feels like a dystopia. It doesn't feel like it feels like a perfect. It's like in the Lego Movie 2. Where
Do you
that
reckon
perfect city.
the cinematographer based Children of Men off of Cat in the Hat?
Yeah, he was like, I don't know. This town's pretty weird, and maybe I could do a one shot of it.
He's like, man, you know what this reminds me of? What the world would look like if women stopped being sterile.
And the director was like, "What are you talking about?" He's
You know, children. We get to like Denise's birthday party,
Yeah.
which I think is genuinely shattering
Oh yeah.
when you're not invited to something, and I don't think this should ever be depicted in children's films.
I think they're brave for putting it on film. I think they're really brave.
Like, the idea of her, like, Sally's character arc is she's too organized.
No, she's a control freak.
Yeah, but like,
But it reveals
she's a go-getter.
she's a go-getter, but she doesn't know how to play with other kids. 'Cause
Yeah.
as she said, I sent the other friend home, but she didn't know. I didn't want to share with her.
Do you remember the beginning when she's going through her daily routine and it's like, amend her will?
Oh, great! That's some great comedy in there.
The first time I noticed this was the pinata gag.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever paid attention to the actual look of the original pinata, which is horrifying and huge.
Oh, gross, isn't it?
Because it's a pinata version
Yeah.
of him. And I'm like, why'd you get out for your kid? Haunting!
But that's the strange thing. I feel like I don't know whether back to the lead scene. I don't know whether they've done reshoots because it's the exact same gag. So I don't know whether they've done it twice. But yeah, that's the gag, I guess.
Yeah,
It's
like I also think the kid that like beats him is a terrible actor. I think when he's sitting over the candy going,
But you know him, right?
yeah, he's in
He's in
things.
so many things.
Yeah.
Do you think that
He's bad in that. I
He
don't
was bad in that.
feel like he's made an impression on me in anything else. You don't want to rag on kid actors.
I think he did pretty well. I think he's in like Meet the Stevens. Do you watch that as a kid?
Oh, he is. That's I've
Shia
not.
LaBeouf-
Yeah,
I've not thought about that for a while, but I remember
yeah,
liking him in that.
yeah.
He's Beans. Is that?
In Shia LaBeouf one.
Yeah.
Even Stevens.
Even Stevens.
Yeah.
I think he's a good actor. I think, again, bad direction. Bad direction.
I think after this gag, I stop enjoying the film.
I was gonna say,
I think this is where it slows down.
I stopped taking notes, and I was writing down...
Because you got into it?
No. I was just sort of writing down, like, that's a great gag, that's a great gag. Which is, I think as a comedy film, I think it's a fantastic film. As a film, other than the makeup, the set design, the acting in some parts, it's a bad film. But you are right, after this bit... It doesn't... There's not too
It feels
many...
like it just goes through the motions.
Yeah.
Like it suddenly just becomes a cheap, shitty kids film. There's like a handful of ones where I'm like, it's kind of funny.
So what happens after this? They get the dog.
Well, like the dog, like they try and get the dog from Alec, and they get it from Alec. They go to that party. There's the big party gag with Paris Hilton.
Paris Hilton's there, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
It
I
feels
think-
like they're patting it out. There's the whole complication of the cat. Like he's like, oh, I don't have my hat anymore.
Well, that's where that deleted scenes from. So I think they've done reshoots. I think they've tried to
Yeah.
piece together this.
Surely, I mean, their test audiences must have hated this.
Yeah.
So we get back. Let's just go to the house. When they get back to the house,
It's pretty nuts. There's not really much. Oh, they got the big pen gag. I think that's very funny.
yeah, the pen gag is good, and
Yeah.
then just like there's the weird, just like I prefer canine American.
How much is that canine American in the window?
Cat, come on!
I thought that was great, but then the kids were laughing at it.
Yeah.
And that kind of ruined it. I was
Kids,
like,
no.
you should be
no.
laughing. This...
Yeah, the CGI inside the house is terrible.
Which the bubble when what's it called when Alec Baldwin falls
No,
down?
yeah, like when with they go to like the other side. And
Yes, it is awful.
the
But then
sets are cool.
the set design, and I'm 100% certain that they were like, the Grinch did really well. I reckon we get Cat in the Hat well. We've got the theme park. Universal.
Was this made before the theme park, or was the theme park made after this? Like the ride?
I'm not entirely
Because they've
sure.
got the self-promotion in it.
Yeah, I think they were going to make a ride if it did well. Because I think it's a great ride. I think it'll be so much fun.
Mm. And then the kids lock the thing.
Frogs, they...
But I'm also like, I don't think the kids have changed or learned anything.
No, I kind of wrote down character arc, like, I mean, Sally got a bit more... No, she didn't really get loosey-goosey.
Sally saw, like, it feels like at the end Sally needs to learn to trust her brother, which is not the arc.
No.
And then Conrad needs to, like, take...
Well, he doesn't learn from his actions.
No.
He doesn't really learn... I mean, anything, it helps him, because
Yeah.
now that Alec Baldwin's out of his life.
Also, when I first watched this, I thought Alec Baldwin had died.
Did he
So
not
I
think-
remember being really like, no, like, up until he pops back out, it very much seems like he's just dead.
Oh, yeah, he's gone. He comes out of a tap.
Yeah.
It's bad CGI.
It is bad CGI. Do you know what they used to colour in purple?
No.
It's chicken fat.
So wait, they've dyed chicken.
Yeah, they've dyed chicken fat and covered him in it. How gross is that?
Oh, God. What even... It's really good. I thought it was just like Nickelodeon slime. It's
No, I mean, like, the facts could be wrong, but I've been told, I've read that it's chicken fat.
I feel like that no one's making that up. That definitely happened. That's really...
How disgusting.
Yeah. I mean, it's a disgusting scene. It's meant to be disgusting, but poor Alec Baldwin.
Do you reckon Alec Baldwin, like, they thought he was getting paid too much, and they were like, he needs to earn his money more?
I think Mike Myers was like, fuck him. I've been every day, 3 hours beforehand, put that prick... Because apparently everyone was just looking at Mike Myers the whole time, which you would. He's a guy in a cat... He's Mike Myers and in a cat suit. And in the behind the scenes, he looks miserable. And he's just cutting everybody off. So I think he was like...
He must have been cheating
Give it
on
chicken
set.
fat. You make him purple chicken fat. Fuck Alec Baldwin.
The movie ends on a Smash Mouth song. Now, out of the two of us, which one of us has seen Smash Mouth live?
That's crazy, Carl, because I have. And he did not play this song. I saw him. Smash Mouth, I'm not sure what the lead singer's name is, but he was the only
Smash, Mr. Mouth.
one. Mr. Mouth. He charged $90, and it was just him. He sang all the random songs that, I'm sure if you're a Smash Mouth fan, you like. What's the, he's played I'm a Believer. He didn't mind that. What's his, All Star. All Star. He didn't sing that. He just made the audience sing it. So I paid $90 to watch the man who made All Star point a microphone at the audience, and they just left.
Were you the oldest people there?
No.
Oh, really?
No. A lot of people going for the gag, same as us. And then there were, at the back of the stadium, sitting down, I think, diehard Smash Mouth fans that were about 50. I have no idea what their life is like. I don't really want to know.
And he fucked off as soon as it ended, didn't he?
Fucked off so quick. It was a 60-minute set. It was
Everybody was like, encore! And he was like already on the plane.
Fucking going. Felt bad. But then again, he took $90 out of my pocket. So, yeah, screw him. So when the song played...
so expensive.
So expensive.
I've seen such better artists for less.
I think, in fairness to him, if he was a good artist, you could charge less. But most people going to him were going to mock him. So if people were going to mock me,
but he's surely aware of it, and that is probably what puts him in a crappy mood.
He was in a very crappy mood. He didn't want to be there.
Yeah.
I think he knows what he is.
Like, I've seen Ed Sheeran for cheaper, and that's one of the biggest names in music at the moment.
Exactly.
You saw Smash Mouth?
I saw Smash. The joke's on me.
Yeah.
The joke's on everyone. No one's won here.
Yeah. He has.
He has. Oh,
it's made a few grand.
He made a few grand, but at what cost?
His dignity.
Anyway, so he was in the song. Yeah. The cleanup scene is quite fun.
Sure.
Yeah? There you go. Positive.
Could not care less about this movie from now. It annoys me that the fish can now talk at the end. I'm very confused about the mechanisms of the fish, because I feel like the magic of the Cat in the Hat being is what makes the fish to life.
Because they say, yeah, the fish now can
talk. But
talk.
Also, when the cat leaves, the fish can still talk, but also then don't seem to be shocked by the fact the fish can talk.
Carl, the cat leaves a little bit of magic everywhere he goes.
Hate that. Hate you.
Put that in your pocket.
Hate you.
Sit on that.
Jocelyn, get me out of here.
I hate this fucking joke. I'm gonna spend so long I'm just gonna have a black bar of just no audio.
Absolutely not. I've purposely brought it in so much that you have to leave the gag in. Otherwise, you need to listen to the whole thing again. They're gonna love it. It's gonna reoccur in every episode. I've got so many other characters to bring out. Brad will make an appearance in the next one. What's he going to be? Who knows?
Who knows? You don't know.
Improvisational comedy. That's great. Brad's gonna make an appearance in Beverly Hills Chihuahua.
Do not. Alright, so how was this Smash Mouth?
That's all I have to say. The movie's an hour and 14 minutes long.
Also him and the thing right after the sunset, so I thought it was quite nice.
Yep, turns out the Cat in the Hat is the narrator.
I think it was a bit of fun, that last thing.
Yeah. So is he... Did you read anything about what the sequel was supposed to be?
I didn't know there was a sequel in the works.
I mean, from what I read, the idea was to have a crossover with The Grinch and the Cat in the Hat.
Really?
Yeah.
Jim Carrey, Mike Myers...
So they never signed on... But it was pitched to the two of them.
Really?
Yeah. But again,
Wikipedia
or whatever I read it off of, not a reliable source, but still.
That would be interesting, because I feel like... Because both of them have said that the costume is the worst part. I think Jim Carrey had to go through military training of, like, how to withstand torture because the suit was so constricting.
Yeah.
And Mike Myers obviously did not like this. So if Cat in the Hat did... as well as The Grinch. You know, made a lot of money and is rewatched every Christmas.
Maybe. I mean, do you reckon they've asked Jim Carrey to come back for a Grinch 2? Surely that's been a thing.
Discussed. I think it has, probably.
Because it's only gotten more popular.
It has.
Yeah.
I think I think now the Illumination ones come out, I don't think it was never going to happen. But it must have been discussed in like 2005. What was The Grinch?
Yeah.
Was The Grinch 2000s?
Yeah. The Grinch is beginning of 2000s or very, very late 90s.
Plot done.
Yep.
What else do we have to say about this? Because I still like it. The more I talk about it, I think there are flaws, but I think as a comedy...
No, so it's not a perfect film.
I have never said it was a perfect film. I just said
you're on record at the beginning.
I just said it was better than every Martin Scorsese film ever. And a solid 8 out of 10. Maybe a 9. But I think...
you punched it back up.
Punch it back up, honestly.
Double down. Alright, so what are you... Anybody else from the cast and crew that you want to talk about?
I've written down the editor, and I think editing in a comedy is quite key.
Yeah. I think the editing of the cupcake gag is
fantastic.
Yep.
I just thought he'd done Galaxy Quest, Bill and Ted, Ace Ventura. So he'd done like some
good
pretty good stuff. There's two things. I love this film. but I know a lot of people don't. Maybe older people, maybe they didn't grow up with it. Is it just the director that ruined this, or did Mike Myers ruin this?
I think I would just honestly put it down to story. It
Really?
just needs a better story.
Yeah.
I think everything would be more tolerable if the movie was simply better written outside of the gags.
'Cause
Like, the kids are passable, and Mike Myers is good, and the production design is good. And I'm like, it's hammily directed because it's a first-time director, but also it's like...
I think it's pretty
I don't-
passable.
I don't think the director can overcome a pretty boring plot, which is the kids have to be alone, the cat shows up, they leave
But
the
that's-
house, they come back to the house.
But I think that's the main issue. I think, and why a lot of people hated this film when it first came out, is because the book's so loved,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's like a 20-page
Yeah, the book is not long.
Yeah.
You need to take big liberties.
And I think they did. And I like the direction they did
Yeah.
it. But
Like, for an hour and 15 minutes, they are stretching, which is kind of crazy.
yeah. Because I mean, other than the Grinch,
I think you need a bigger, better villain. I think maybe is probably what's missing from this.
there's no villain in Cat. That's the
I know, but you invent one, you know?
Is that Alec Baldwin? I think he's very funny.
Yeah, but in that case, I think make him a proper conniving villain. Like, the movie needs. I wonder if this will be a recurring theme as we go down IMDb's bottom 100 movies that don't adhere to just a very simple 3-act structure. And
Do you not think this
I think
does?
it's got some turning points, but it's also
I think that you got the introduction. Cat
Yeah.
shows up. He causes the issues. That's the second act.
yeah, but
So
I don't feel like events. There's not big enough events for $109 million film. This needs bigger spectacle.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, the production design. I think the production design. I guess
We were dinging Artemis Fowl being so small in scope
It's funny they're
with-
quite similar.
with very similar budgets and constraints and
They
stuff.
just chilled in a house. for
Yeah.
most of it, and then some magical things arrived.
Yeah.
And that's the film.
Well, here's the thing. It's okay. So I think Cat in the Hat's funnier.
Yeah.
I think the first Home Alone's a stronger film, just in general.
Okay.
So it's what are they doing different?
That's fair, but it's got such a low score. The Cat in the Hat.
Yeah,
So
abusively low.
Yeah.
I don't think it's anywhere. Well, I mean,
see, I'd put this now. I recently watched Storks. I think Storks is very, very funny, but plot wise, it's pretty weak. Would you agree?
yeah,
I would say this is similar vein to Storks
yeah.
in the terms that it's a pretty weak plot, but the comedy holds it up. So that's where I'm coming
I think
from.
Storks is a better plot, to be honest. There's a better world, better plots,
It's a better
a
world.
bit more heart. That's definitely
Oh, yeah.
more that's more feels more populated with characters. I think that's the thing. This movie hinges solely on Mike Myers and everybody else in it, apart from Alec Baldwin, who's really only in it for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Mike Myers is the only source of excitement and joy, and everybody else comes off very flat and plain.
Yeah. I think that's the world, but also just kind of poor direction.
Yeah.
And also a pretty weak thing to base it on. The book, again, 20
Yeah.
pages.
At least the Grinch has a plot. He steals Christmas. The Cat in the Hat mends some children.
Well, he doesn't even do that. He just sort of rocks up, causes a mess,
Causes a ruckus.
and then fixes it. Is that the plot? Is that the entire plot?
Pretty much, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the rhyming that really holds that book up. They take that out
It
immediately.
is. It's the fact that you're in a state of lingual development. So
It's a learning tool.
Yeah.
And they're gone, we'll take out the learning aspect of it.
and Mike Myers is going to do the rest.
109 million?
Yeah.
Go nuts. His
Look,
eye.
here's the thing. There's worse movies.
So many worse
If
films.
I was doing a bottom 100 movies I've seen, I don't think this would get into it.
No.
I think, and there's a lot of worse movies we're going to be covering during this list. But I mean, I thought that Anne Hathaway, Rebel Wilson movie The Hustle was far worse than this. That's not in the bottom 100.
And it's not this film. I think it works. It's not broken. It's not a broken film. So I
Yeah.
feel the further down the list we get, there are films that just are unwatchable because they are broken. They don't adhere to film 3-act structures and whatnot. This
yeah.
kind of does, but I think on IMDb it should be at a 5.7. I think that's the exact score it deserves.
Yeah. I think it should be in the 5s.
Yeah, and it's slowly climbing. I remember
I don't think it'll be in the bottom 100 for too much longer.
No.
Look, the reason we did the podcast was the fact that IMDb actually changed its bottom 100.
So what's the mechanic now?
So I don't know what the mechanic is for what it is, because when I wanted to do it, it was such, like, nothing movies.
Mm-hmm.
So, but now they've changed to ones that it's like...
Is
It's almost like a popular bottom 100. So it's like, you've heard of nearly every film. Like, you know of it. Whereas before it was like...
It's bad. Like
It's bad.
It's got a $3,000
like,
budget.
It's clearly like an objectively terrible film.
Yeah.
So I think this movie will probably pop out if Cats is already in it.
Which I think we can get into Cats.
Yeah.
We can chat about
We'll
that.
get there. But any idea on a sequel? What would you consider for a sequel?
Well, now you've wet my whistle with Jim Carrey and Cat in the Hat, and I think like a Jason versus just the
Cat in the Hat versus the
Grinch.
Grinch.
Who would win?
I think God, who would win? Cat in the Hat. Cat in the Hat's very violent.
It's got a lot of props.
And he's got a lot
I'm
of
sure
props.
he can dig out a big hammer out and just
Get him on the head. I think what I would do is I would do a body swap comedy on the terms of like Face Off. So it's Mike Myers as the Grinch and Jim Carrey as the Cat in the Hat.
Do they swap voices or are you swapping costumes?
You know,
with them?
fuck it, swap the costumes.
Like, see what happens.
And then the Cat in the Hat can be like, but I don't want to steal Christmas. And the Grinch can be like, but I don't want to help children.
So we're just
like,
writing off the Grinch's like character arc in the Grinch.
yeah, we go back to it. He hates Christmas again.
Yeah.
The Cat in the Hat spends a lot of time with children. They swap bodies. They're like, no, what do we do?
Are they the opposites? They are the opposite characters, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty much.
What a cheap writing.
Like
emphasis.
one-
What a hack.
One learns to like accept joy, and the other one learns to like spread joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Green Eggs and Ham is about a man who wants to give you green eggs and ham.
Should we? What do you like? What's your ranking if you look at like these Dr. Seuss ones?
So we've got. Here's my thing. The ones that are funny are the ones that work, but like as like a just sit down and enjoy. There's not really much. There's Grinch. There's Horton Hears a Who. The Cat in the Hat.
Ugh, Cat in a Hat.
It's Cat in a Hat.
It should be called Cat in a
I
Hat.
don't know why they did that. What else?
The
is there?
Lorax.
I think the Lorax is very boring. I don't.
The Grinch, then like the new Grinch. I think the Cat in the Hat's the best adaptation.
Yeah.
It is short
It's
and
short,
it is funny.
It's funny. It's got some great gags. And that's about it, really. And again, they're like 20-page books.
Yeah.
What do you want? They're not going to be...
This really isn't that bad.
No. I think that's my issue, is that when I saw an IMDb being a 2, I was like, how dare they? It's not that bad. So throughout my whole life, I brought it up to be a 9. And a reflection, if it was just a 6, I'd be like, yep, that's fair enough. It's fair enough.
Yeah.
I'm going to lower my rating. Maybe
you started at a 9.
I started at 9, maybe now I'm a weak 8.
A weak 8?
Yeah.
But it was originally an 8, closer to a 9 than a 7.
Yeah, but it's a wobbly 8.
Oh,
maybe
no.
a 7. Maybe it's dropping.
Yeah.
But then there's that.
Here's the thing, though. I reckon this movie's going to look better the more shitty films we do.
I think so. I think
As we work our way down this list, I think we're going to be praying for a Cat in the Hat.
Here's the thing. Have you rewatched Cat in the Hat? How many times have you watched Cat in the Hat?
Oh, God. 10.
Yeah. I think
10
I've watched...
times.
Yeah. I don't think I'm ever going to revisit Artemis Fowl. There's no enjoyment.
Oh, absolutely not. Although we do have huge nostalgia goggles for this film.
That is my...
So, maybe if you want to send us an email and complain, by all means, Jocelyn will answer it and hand it on to us. The gag that keeps on giving, you can't cut it out.
No, that's the issue. You keep peppering it in. There's pepper fucking everywhere.
Shit, I'm stepping in so much Jocelyn.
Okay, Carl. Now, who would watch Cat in the Hat? Who is this for?
Oh, who would watch the Cat in the Hat? I guess it's us.
It's us. And, we can't just be like, but it is us. It's
fans of Mike Myers in the early 2000s who are under the age of 12.
Well, let's split it up. So it's 2 people watch. So when people initially watch this, who would watch this? And let's talk about who would come back and rewatch this.
Okay. I think the only people that this is nostalgic for people like us.
Yeah.
I think we would watch this. I'll continue to watch this through the years. I'll probably show my children it, and hopefully they're raised the same way to go, this is hilarious.
How do you think that's... Because It's not like an 80s comedy classic where it's like, oh man, you gotta watch it. It's a bit dated, but it works.
It's a noughties comedy classic.
I don't know how.
It's definitely not. I retract that statement.
Could you imagine in 2040 go,
oh,
you've got to sit down and watch
God, The Cat in the Hat has aged so well.
Fine cheese or a wine.
I hope so. It's just Roger Ebert's website. It's like, The Cat in the Hat, the movie of the generation that didn't know it.
It was ours, The Shining. Critics hated it when it first came out.
Who's the director? He's our generation's Kubrick.
He makes one
He
film.
makes one film.
And never works again. Oh.
Hollywood didn't know what they had. Who else is this? I think it's for very, very young kids. And I think if young kids watch this and then continue to watch it and age into the more adult comedy in it, then I think they can enjoy it. But also, I think there's so much better kids content out there that I think kids should watch instead of The Cat in the Hat.
Now or back then? Because back then, I mean, you had Shrek, and they were like, let's just do Shrek.
I know, but now you've got, like, Pixar films that work with complicated themes of grief and death and emotional...
hang on, this film also does, don't you? When the cat gets hit in the balls.
It's true. It deals with childhood trauma.
I guess so. Powerful. Thank you, Bob. Is it Bob Welsh? Yeah. Let's not dive into his psyche.
Because we can't remember his name.
We can't remember his name.
We can look it up, but we won't.
We won't.
And that's a commitment to you, the listener.
Exactly. You guys know it. We don't.
Yeah.
And you guys can sit in that feeling.
God, I guess it's...
Other than kids, and kids that watched it young and grew up with it, is there any entertainment value for someone that blindly going in? A 40-year-old man by himself?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't think... Unless you grow up with this, there's no if you enjoy this movie on a first watch and you're 40, you need help. You're the problem.
Sitting down going, oh, that's a great one.
If you're like, alright, son, get over here. We're going to clean the kitchen.
I swear to God, this will not be a recurring gag. We can't just go, alright, you got a messy kitchen. What film?
Here's the thing.
Here's
the thing though. Shut up, let me have this. Alright? Here's the thing. There's a dirty dish.
Shut the... If every film is just, you've got a messy kitchen, kitchenettes maybe, and you got a child that needs to be entertained, what do you do?
Here's the thing though, if we're doing kids movies, I'm always going to bring it down to a messy kitchen. I'm sorry, Beverly Hills Chihuahua, you'll be getting the dirty kitchen treatment. Because in my understanding, for me at least, my parents would watch movies out of the corner of their eyes while doing other shit. Right? And then they'd either get engrossed or they'd be like, oh no.
Shouldn't have put that on.
So this is the type of one that, unlike Artemis Fowl, it's the type of one where if you're an adult and you're cleaning the kitchen, your child's watching it, I think you finish the movie with your child.
Okay, so positive. Artemis Fowl, you turn it off after 40 minutes.
Because you're like, okay, well the job's done, let's go play in a park.
Exactly, I wasn't watching that. Let's go outside. We're Cat in the Hat, it keeps you indoors. And you're engrossed.
But also, I don't recommend doing it.
No. Except we will do it to our kids because it's, again...
my kids are going to absolutely hate me. Because they'll be like, why are you doing the dishes so often just to only let me watch 40 minutes of the film?
The kitchen's been clean for days, Dad. Let me go outside. I'll watch Artemis Fowl for 40 minutes and let me go out.
My hands... The kitchen's so messy because I'm bleeding from cleaning too much all over it.
Your fingers have rotted away.
Yeah, that's right. The kitchen's just blood and plates. I'm stuck in an endless cycle of cleaning and telling my son to put on Disney+.
So to summarise, if you are in this traumatic kitchen experience, then this is the film for you and your children.
If your child is abusing you or just making too much of a mess, you know what? Here's a PSA. Don't let your children make a mess.
I mean, this film actually does say that... Well, no, the film says, do let them make a mess.
Oh, God,
a magical cat
I hate
will clean it up for you.
My main takeaway is how much I dislike Conrad. I do not want to sound like Conrad. Conrad makes too much of a mess.
But he learns to be a just.
Conrad's look. You know what the ending of the movie is for me? If I'm the mum, he still goes off. He still goes off to the camp. He's like, Mum, I've changed. I don't care. Yes.
This morning, it's been 6 years of this, Conrad. Get out to military school. You're gonna sort yourself out.
I'm like, Sally's making a fucking friend. You're going off to military school, and guess what? I'm getting back together with Alec. Right?
The purple goo got me going.
It did. Oscar, who was this movie? Who would watch this?
I feel like you take all the good answers, and now I've got. No,
you shouldn't let me go first.
I shouldn't let you go first. I don't know, the sofa's dirty, and your kids need to watch a movie in the kitchen.
Yeah, you can't use my kitchen. That's fine. I'm ripping it off.
I need it to be dirty so I can watch a film.
For the listener at home, I've gotten up and roped off the kitchen.
Again, this audio medium is filled with bad audio jokes. Who would honestly watch this other than...
Tell you what, it's not our producer Diane or whatever her fucking name was I said it was. Hey Diane, what was your name?
I guess the bit's done now because he's forgotten the name. Or is he just going to do the bit in Cat in the Hat where it's just Conrad Convex and all that stuff?
Hey Condor! Sorry, Oscar, who would watch this?
God. I guess I'll have to take your answer. It's kids like us. It's
Look,
us.
It's us.
It's this sort of weird, oh, that was funny, I liked it, rewatched it, how dare it be so badly reviewed. I'm going to love it even more. I've been in the process, have actually learned to love it. Again, my rating has dropped to go, again, though it is now a 7 out of 10. The more I think about this and really dissect it...
Wow, and you started this review at a 9.
Oh, it was a possible 10. That was a strong 7.
God, you're going to hate talking movies with me, though.
Oh, God, why?
Nothing, if I'm bringing you down from a 9 to a 7.
It's just more that I have to, think about what score have I given it. I have to go for an hour and a bit, talk about it, go... Oh, I don't know. There's a lot of issues, and I have to go. There's a point.
Here's the thing. I think we're gonna get to some movies where we're just like, this is the worst of the worst, and then we're gonna watch another, and we're gonna be begging to have that other movie back.
How was that? Honest Foul was like it wasn't. It's just bland and a bit boring. But there's some of these that I'm just like, I don't think so.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you for listening, and you can join us next week when we review Money Plan.